Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the Thurman versus Tszyu Is On video, as we're going to discuss not only the Thurman and Tszyu fight being announced, but the entire card that is taking place. It's Amazon's kickoff show for the PBC, as they got their deal going on now for March, I believe it's March 30th on Amazon pay-per-view. So really looking forward to this one. It's a pretty good card, but we'll start with the main event, since that's the one, you know, people are talking about the most. Obviously it's the kickoff, and it's gonna see Tszyu, the reigning undefeated WBO super welterweight champ, meet Keith Thurman, the former unified welterweight champ, in a catchweight fight at 155. A lot of people very disappointed that it got bucked to a catchweight and not for the title, and I'm one of those, because the WBO would not sanction Keith Thurman as a contender. And I get why, but then I don't get why. I mean, because you got guys that are absolute nobodies that pay their sanctioning fees that get ranked. So what's the difference? But obviously the WBO sees a difference here and is deciding to not sanction the fight. So Tszyu and Thurman will be competing on, in a non-title fight here. My thoughts on the fight are, I was more thrilled when I thought it was going to be a title fight, but I mean, I could definitely, I'm with the majority that believes Tszyu's probably going to roll over Keith Thurman, being the 154-pounder. But remember, Thurman started at 154, and that's where more of his power was. That's when his knockouts were occurring, was when he was at 154, and then he moved down to 147 where all the bigger fights were, which I understand. But I don't think it's going to be difficult for Thurman to be effective, quote unquote, but I just think Tszyu, being much younger and, being the more, the guy that's more used to 154, for me, I'm excited because Thurman's a name, but again, I'm less excited now because it's not even a title fight. I figure Tzyu's gonna try to get her name on his resume. At least it should be for his belt, but we know it's not going to be. And, again, that's a little disappointing. So maybe in the meantime, a little over a month, the WBO, actually it's about a month away, the WBO will come to their senses and just say, fuck it, and rank Thurman at, 154 in their rankings, but whatever. The co-feature is going to see Erislandy Lara defending his WBA middleweight title in a mandatory defense against, against Michael Zarafa from Australia. This is an interesting battle right here that I'm looking forward to, because Lara, we rarely see the guy fight. I mean, the guy has been so inactive, and he used to use the excuse that was because of people didn't want to fight him. That's not the case anymore. He fights once a year, and Al Heyman has him fight once a year. So I don't want to hear any more about that nonsense. But it is interesting because, Zarafa's been waiting around for this mandatory shot for a while now. Lara was supposed to fight Danny Garcia, and that didn't come through. And then now he's going to be facing off against Zarafa, his original #1 contender. And it's just an interesting battle to see who's going to pull this one out. I think it could go either way. It's an interesting one. I am looking forward to it. Just to see Lara back in the ring at 40 years old, defending his world title against also an aged Michael Zarafa from Australia. So an interesting matchup. Then then you got Isaac Cruz versus challenging Rolly Romero for the WBA 140-pound belt. I don't know how that is allowed by the WBA when they have a clear mandatory challenger in Ishmael Barroso. But they're allowing this one, Rolly and Cruz. Cruz moving up from 135. Rolly, who moved up to 140 from 135 in his last bout and got that controversial TKO. This makes this very, very interesting. And remember, we all thought Isaac Cruz was going to be the one challenging Tank Davis in a rematch. Now it's obvious that that fight's not going down. So very interesting matchup here for Cruz and Romero for the WBA title at 140. Because, you know, both these guys got names. They're aggressive and they try to, you know, both can hit pretty hard. So it's I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one shakes out between these two. I think it's a good matchup. And then the first fight on the card that's going to kick it off is another title fight. The vacant WBC title will be on the line when Sebastian Fundora battles Sergey Barachuk or whatever. This one's an interesting one because I don't believe Fundora deserves this title shot. He got knocked out in his last fight, brutally knocked out against Mendoza. How do you get a title shot after that? I really don't understand how that's possible, you know, to fight for a vacant title after that. The WBC is naming Jermell Charlo the champion in recess because they're not sure what he wants to do next. And Fundora and Barachuk will battle for the vacant belt. Now, Barachuk is an interesting one because he's 23-1 with 23 knockouts. So this guy hits hard. So what kind of fight is Fundora going to have going into his first ever title fight? And coming off of a brutal knockout loss especially. So going to be interesting to see if Fundora is cautious or if he throws caution to the wind and goes after this guy and tries to impressively become the WBC champion. So that's pretty much it. That's the Tszyu versus Thurman Is On video. And it's funny, Tszyu and Keith Thurman in the main event are the only non-title fight on that card now. So you got Lara and Zarafa for the WBA middleweight title. You got Romero and Cruz for the WBA junior welterweight title at 140. And then you also have Sebastian Fundora and Sergey Barachuk for the vacant WBC junior middleweight title at 154. So very interesting card right here. Really looking forward to it. It's all going to take place Saturday, March 30th on Amazon pay-per-view. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.